What if money was a game and you couldn't fail at it? Like, what if money was a game and you were in a relationship with it and it was like, you know, it's not ever going to break up with you. It loves you unconditionally. Like, how would you play with it? How would you relate to it?
Hello, welcome back to Wealthy as Fuck, the podcast. And I have the most beautiful guest here, and I'm so excited about who I've been fangirling on socials for the last couple of years. And the fact that she said, yes, I'll come on your podcast. I'm so pumped. I've got the beautiful Aislinn Walton. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Did. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Kim. I'm so excited to be here. I feel like this is going to be a just expansive conversation for your listeners. So yeah, ready to dive in.
Very expansive. I do remember too that you say like, I hope of people like pronouncing your name correctly. I was like, I've got to pronounce it correctly.
Well, because like my Instagram handle is Abundance Witch, and Aislinn written out is Aislinn, and a lot of people look at it and it's just like it could go this way or this way. It could be Aislinn, it could be Aislinn, it could be like so many people just throw in all kinds of names.
So you love it when our parents. Thank you, Mum and Dad, for just giving us a name that. Look, mine's pretty easy. It's Kim, but my maiden surname was Tyak, and everyone would say Tyak.
Yes. So never heard of that one before.
Apparently, it's English. It means farmer.
There you go.
Now, and then I married an English boy, named last name Kent. I was like, that makes it easy.
It does. Awesome.
I want to read this beautiful bio for Aislinn because I just think it's written. It just captures the absolute essence of you. So be prepared, listeners, because you're going to be wooed. I love this. So Aislinn is a luxury business and feminine leadership coach who guides women into the next level of wealth, intimacy, and expansion. With a gift for dissolving emotional and energetic blocks. Oh, love that. She helps ambitious leaders double their revenue while deepening their fulfillment. Her work blends strategy, sensuality, and soul, creating spaces where high-achieving women rise into extraordinary ease and power. She is devoted to women who refuse good enough and are ready to live as the embodiment of their richest, most magnetic self. It's so aligned because that's what we're here. Like, I'm all about helping women become their wealthiest fuck self. Look, I just have a little bit of a swear word in mine, but it's very similar.
I love that. I feel like I could use a little more of that. Like I attract friends like that a lot. And I swear all the time when I'm on my own, but publicly for some reason, I don't as much.
There is an asterisk in the word fuck, but you can't say fuck with an asterisk.
Right. No, you gotta own it.
Okay. So I would love to know, I'd love for you to share your journey. So I don't want you to have to like fit it into a time limit or anything. Just, it's kind of becoming your wealthiest self, because I know you lead women because you've walked the walk. You've done this journey, and that's why you can now bring women with you to evolve into their higher self. So yeah, where did you come from? And the most profound thing that's happened to you, I'm sure there's way more than one thing. Yes, talk to me about it. Take me on the journey.
Okay, I won't bore everybody, so I'll keep it concise. I was born in Boulder, Colorado. So I know a lot of your listeners are probably Australian, but also global. So Colorado is like mountains and active people. And it is like a beautiful place to grow up. I had I would say my family was like solid middle class. And then they had like a bit of a comeback, a come up. And then through like 2008, my family started to experience bankruptcy, and like all of the beautiful childhood that I had kind of like started to dissolve just right in front of my face. And, I, in a weird way, healing from all of that. My family ended up kind of just going through a big healing phase. My parents did separate because of all of that stuff that kind of surfaced, but I had a beautiful childhood. And then I learned kind of in hindsight that my ambition wasn't really there until I needed it to be. And, you know, having things, I was never like taught to just, you know, I was never like given a car for my 16th birthday. I was never just like given a bunch of stuff. My parents taught me hard work. My parents are both entrepreneurs. My dad is actually an Olympic athlete. So, our whole family was very much like work hard and earn it. And I got it I got it. But then when my family kind of went through financial struggles, I really like it kind of activated like, oh, this is what that means. Now I have to make it happen, you know? So, went to college, got a degree in like social media, digital media, marketing, design, that kind of thing. And, got a job right away, which is wonderful. And I was sitting at my computer every day doing that kind of digital design work. And I really felt this expansion calling me. I was like, you know what? There is something so much bigger for me. And I'm grateful for this, but also like more is just like, it just needed to be explored. Just needed to be explored. So I booked a one-way ticket. I was the yoga teacher on the side of my digital marketing stuff. Booked a ticket to Panama and just had a whole year between Panama and Costa Rica teaching yoga and living literally day to day. I was making probably on a good day, $20 a day and just flying by the seat of my pants, like fully. I was like fulfilled. It was the feeling I was missing when I was sitting behind my computer at that desk job, which also, yes, grateful for, but also it just wasn't necessarily where I was going to stay, you know? So it was a stepping stone. And from there, I ended up meeting all of these people. I did a bunch of yoga trainings. I really, like, there were a lot of Australians, honestly. Like backpacking, you meet a lot of Australians. They're just like the rowdiest, just most like interesting people when you're traveling. You always meet Australians. So fell in love with one, like, you know, just kind of all of this fun, adventurous, year taught me so much, taught me a lot about leadership and trusting myself. And in that time frame, I actually just started to feel way more connected to my body than I've ever felt before through yoga. It was just kind of like this, not necessarily like sexual awakening, but more like a sensual awakening where I was inspired to like get off hormonal birth control, inspired to track my cycle, inspired to just like really meet myself and like heal some of the trauma that I'd experienced from the previous years of like, you know, family stuff and whatnot. So I really felt like it was just me coming into my power. That year I think I was 24. This was about 9, 10 years ago at this point. And it really kind of sparked this work ethic in me where if I want it, like I got to create it, you know, and I'm not going to be the person who falls into a corporate career. I just knew at that point I was just not that person and that's fine. I think everybody has their path. My path was, it has to be adventurous, it has to be expansive, it has to be fulfilling, and like it has to be financially rewarding as well. Cause I experienced a lot of financial scarcity and like wondering, how am I going to pay for this? And just like that squeeze, I had to touch it. Like I had to feel it. I had to experience it so that I could feel the contrast of like what I wanted instead. Right. So anywho, moved back to Colorado after that adventurous Costa Rica year. And I did go back to my digital marketing job because I needed to make money. And alongside that, I started to post way more on Instagram about this like journey of like my feminine embodiment kind of awakening. And people started to ask me questions and there were DMs every day. And people were like, what are you doing and why? And can you tell us more about it? So it was just kind of like a natural conversation I was having with my audience or my community. And I got so many questions about especially like menstrual cycle and tracking my cycle. I actually decided to create like a little mini video course. And I recorded those 3 videos. I put $111 on it as the price tag. And I had 10 women buy it. The first like ever kind of thing I created. And I was like, wait a second. I just made $1,000 making 3 little videos that were so easy and fun for me. Like this was the easiest, most fun money I've ever made in my life. And now not only the money, I have people in my inbox saying, this is changing my life. Oh my God. I'm like, okay, there's something here. So I dove full in and I worked on abundance mindset. I did a Catherine Zinkina, manifestation babe, Amanda Francis work. Like I dove full in on into all of the work from my like abundance mindset. Like, wait, so much is possible. People are having $10,000 months doing what I just did. I can do that 10 times, right? I can make $1,000 10 times. That was kind of in my mind because I knew I was making maybe $2,500 a month at that time, like my job. And my whole world was like, wait, online horse creation so much is opening up for me, and I cannonballed into it, fully cannonballed into it. I hired my first coach. I did like Amanda Francis's Become a Money Making Coach course. And from there, it really took off. Like it took off so much that I feel like I had to kind of catch up with the momentum. And that was such a blessing. I launched that first course in June, I believe, paid $1,000. And by that October, I think I had my first 10K month. And then that December, January, I think my first 20K month. And then the next year, my first 50K month. And I was like, what is happening? So I've gone on to make multi-millions in my business at this point. And now, yeah, I teach women not just like money mindset, because that's really just a thin layer of it. It's much more about worthiness and like, which comes back to the roots of my work. So that's my story.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And congratulations. I feel like it's such a big, well, how do I say this? I'm like, it's still early in the morning for me. I need the brain to connect to it, right? When you know you're like, it's in alignment when you're showing up with like, I guess I can relate with my story when I did the work to heal my relationship with money. And then I started teaching it. And like, again, so I was teaching mindset and strategy within business. And the women were just, as I say, frothing on it. Like, they're just like, oh my God, I need it. And it was easy. And then I started like breaking income glass ceilings just by teaching my passion from my own healing.
Totally.
You know you're on track. So
yeah. Thank you. Yeah. And I mean, and like, just to be very honest, like it wasn't just, it started great and it kept going great forever. You know, like this whole process is definitely like this, like high highs, low lows, things that worked before all of a sudden as an entrepreneur. You know, I've been doing this for like 8 years officially, you know, and to expect that it's just like, great, you have your first 20K month and then every single month onward and upward is just easy. And that's not necessarily been my experience, which is good in a way because it kind of like keeps you on your toes and it keeps you learning, especially with the world of like social media always evolving and the algorithm always changing. Because like that's our primary platform. I'm sure it's just like always going to be changing. And it's a little frustrating, right? Because you wish like things would just always work the same if they're working really well. But yeah, it's definitely like almost on a spiritual level, you know, kind of designed that way so that you keep staying invested to in the relationship. And I see my business as a relationship. I see my clients, my business, my money. It's all through what I was talking about in my bio. Like it's all through the lens of relation and intimacy and like recognizing where you're closing off, where you're available, where you're connecting, where you're avoiding. Like it's all attachment theory, but it's also all like intimacy based and seeing something as especially our business from a feminine perspective, like what do we nurture? What can we give? And then what boundaries can we create so that we stay in our power and we stay in our, you know, ability to be generous? Because oftentimes, like, I'm sure you've talked to so many women who've burned out, you know, or have like started off slow or started off hot. And then all of a sudden just things shift and things change over the years. And, if you're in a relationship with your business, you're kind of in that like curiosity of not just expecting someone, right, to stay the same all the time. Like you kind of assume you got to have conversations. You got to keep connecting. You got to keep just kind of being curious and having the tough conversations, especially with yourself, with God, with your business, with money, like with all of the things. Yeah.
I actually have. So I love this. I'm like, I know the questions will come. So what I would love to know, because like I can relate so much, and depending whoever's listening, depending where they are on the journey, can relate to like we know it's not just we want the quick fix. Like fucking oath, I want the like. Can I just heal one bit trauma and then I'm a multimillionaire and everything is great? Like I wish we all wish it was like that, but it's not. So there's so many layers that you've gone through to heal. What would be like let's talk specific to money. Do you know there's going to be more than one thing. I already know it. But I guess your relationship to money and actually earning money, holding money, like actual money in the bank. What did you find was the most, whether it was profound or just the biggest, I'm sure there's a better word I could say, thing, like what was the biggest problem that you had to solve or heal from?
Mm-hmm.
Did you even realize or like how did it come up for you? And it's like, oh my gosh, there's the like bottleneck that I didn't even realize? Tell me about that moment.
Oh,
Was
yeah.
there this?
This is such a great question. It didn't appear even in the first few years, right? Like I had 6 figures stacked in my bank account. And I was like, I've got this. This is easy. Like, no big deal. This is awesome. The money's coming. And then I noticed when it came to like trusting the outflow, trusting like money to leave and then come back, and making decisions investment wise from either empowerment and high self-esteem and like self-trust, or like, am I trying to keep up? Am I trying to like, like making decisions with my money that either expanded it or taught me that there were mistakes, right? Mistakes you can make. So to me, like I've always been a saver. My parents would give me like money for chores or something or various allowances, and it would go straight to my piggy bank. And I have like 5 planets in Capricorn. I don't know if you guys or your audience is much into astrology, but like Capricorn is very much like responsible. Work hard, be responsible, minimal risk, right? And that's kind of been my identity with money. But I think what I needed to learn was like, I've invested $300,000 in my personal development since the start. Like that's a lot of money that I've needed to leave and to go and like work in the world for me. And even if it's not in my bank account, the value is still there, right? So like, can I still be an abundant woman if there's 6 figures or not 6 figures in my bank? Yeah. If the money in the cash represents something that's actually an insecurity, like that's actually something that I needed to like learn to let go of and trust that money still comes back around, still comes in, still flows. And it very much is like a circulative effect. It's like generative. It's very much, I guess, circulatory in a way, right? Because it has to flow. And I think I was like kind of keeping it in this little like dungeon.
Like you said, Dave, you cannot leave me.
Yeah. And so I have had like over the years with various investments, like I invested in a $120,000 mastermind a few years ago, and the financial reward of it didn't necessarily come back right away, but I didn't invest in it to do that. I invested in it for the networking, the connections, the relationships, just observing like what happens here, And I think that that's something I'm just so glad I have been on like the receiving side of that. Because I know a lot of women, like what you were saying, love the idea of a quick fix and like the magic pill and the overnight success. But I have been kind of initiated, it feels like, into the slow, feminine, sustainable way, which is more disappointing, quote, quote, to your ego. But it's a little bit more like to our bodies and to our cyclical nature. It feels so good, Kim, to market to women who actually are in it for the long game and to attract those people because I'm just a magnet for them because that's what I walk and talk, right? It's like I've kind of eliminated the people in my audience who are just like money hungry in the sense that they would kind of make impulsive decisions and then get so frustrated, right? That something wasn't happening overnight. And I think that that is a sign of like just deep embodied, mature, feminine energy where you learn, I think, especially in your 30s and especially like I have a lot of clients in their 40s and 50s too, because I'm a magnet for that like mature wisdom, the slower, the kind of the dissolving of the illusion, which is liberating, like dissolving the illusion of fast money. Because fast money loves to be fast. I believe like money likes to move quickly, right?
Yeah.
But also, if you're building something very steady and big and you want it to hold you and feel satisfying and feel fulfilling, just like any like romantic relationship or marriage, right? You want it to have like deep anchors. And sometimes you learn like those anchors go deeper and deeper and that the foundational pillars go deeper and deeper through like earthquakes, through things rocking, through things not going your way. And like the ego wants to fight on that. But oh my God, the wisdom, especially like I just see like a wise woman, she's got wrinkles and she's in her elder age And she just kind of like laughs at the people who are like money hungry because she's like, oh, child, like you will learn, you know? And I love representing that frequency for women where it really is about who are you becoming? And yeah, can you hold it? And you're going to drop it many times in order to show and prove and experience the holding. And I think a lot of people are like, well, can I hold it without dropping it? And I'm like, no, like it doesn't have to be a disaster, but yeah, you're going to make mistakes. So kind of like bring it on, you know, like bring on the trials and the experiments because that's going to reinforce who you are and your confidence. And, you know, you're going to weather storms that feel that other people literally would like go home in real quick. And you're just sitting there like, this is fine. You know,
this is like one of the biggest lessons I've learned. I feel like one of the biggest, there's never one big lesson, right?
totally.
It's like big lessons. Yeah. When we have a goal and we want to get from A to B, so right now our identity is in A and we want to identify as a person at point B where we're going.
Yeah.
We attract in the storms and all of that. Like we actually ask for it because that's what's going to teach us how to get to point B because we have to overcome those next lessons. But the universe doesn't test us. I say if the universe was to test us, we'd all be dead, right? Because no one fucking likes a test. We always dreaded the test in school. The universe presents us with opportunities to get to where we want. But the thing is, when we're not in duality, when we're just one side, and it's like, I just want it to be easy and I just want to get there easy. Like you'd already be there.
Yeah.
Like you have to learn. And it's a lesson, but lessons aren't, you can call it something else. It just depends on the meaning you put on the word. But it's a lesson to learn like, well, that version of me, how does she think? How does she behave when that problem is presented? Because like you can have poor people problems, middle class problems, and then rich people problems. If you want to be a rich person or the wealthy person, you have to know how to navigate wealthy people problems. Yeah. And that is, the big one is like having money, knowing you have money and then being okay with spending it. So I talk about this, the circulation of money. It's literally universal law of circulation. Like, universal law of circulation is build, maintain, destroy in life. And then how I apply it to money is spend, hold, receive.
Yes.
And usually us who are in the journey of becoming wealthy, we actually are really good at the spending, but it's the spending without the trust and knowing it's going to come back. So all you have to, I was a healthy hoarder. Well, no, I wouldn't call it healthy. The unhealthy hoarder. But the thing is, I'd end up spending it, even though I'd be like keeping my dungeon, but then like, let me just take a little bit.
Hold.
Like it's so unhealthy, but then being open to receiving. When, like, if we ever go out to, it's usually like go to catch up with a friend for coffee and they offer to pay. And the amount of time I used to be like, oh, no, I've got it. That's literally the universe giving us, like, over here, you'd be blown away with how much coffee is. Now it's like $7 above. Like Aussie. So it's like $5 US above for a latte. It's ridiculous. But that's literally the universe trying to give you $7. And if you can't accept the $7, you're never going to get the $7 million.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So
You'll go ahead.
I love this. I love when we have like great conversation. It's like, I feel like talking when we both want to talk. It's such good energy because we're just so aligned. Well, I guess with this, I do want to ask you, because there's so much in that and everyone still wants, I laugh at this because when I'm a guest on other people's podcasts, I'm always asked, we know, can you talk about the long term and, you know, the sustainable growth? But if the listeners could just implement, if they could take away one thing, because we all want one thing we can, like, there's actually never one thing when it comes to money. But if there is, what's some things you would love to share that people can start? Like, I know there's going to be some mindset side of things and maybe a little bit of practical. What wisdom would you give that people could walk away from this episode? What are you not implementing?
Oh, okay. Let's see here. Okay, so a lot, specifically, I think for women, this has been like a reoccurring thing that's showed up. And I have reels and content all about this everywhere, especially lately though. So how do I want to present this? Women have a lot of complex, like nervous system patterns around money, having it, not having it. Like there's so many stories And there's so much complexity for good reason, because biologically, women are really like biologically wired to prioritize safety above all else.
Mm-hmm.
Like cavewoman level
Yeah.
nervous system.
Yes.
And what I've experienced is that so many women end up with these busy minds and they like get themselves out of their body. And they start to relate to money from safety. They start to relate to like men and money specifically from a place of safety. And they keep themselves like good enough, just like in my intro. They keep themselves safe enough, good enough. And that's fine. Like that's great. Many people like that's perfect to be good enough. But they don't necessarily understand that there's this fear of really being in an expansive state with money because they start to associate that with danger. Like a woman in power, a woman in abundance, it almost feels like, well, now eyes are on me or people want something from me. You're going to take something from me or men won't love me, right? Like if I don't need a man financially, then like what kind of man is going to want me? Like there's so many stories that are definitely like they feel real, right? They feel true to these women. But the most important thing to look at is where there's kind of a self-sacrifice or a self-abandonment happening around the relationship with money. For example, in my last relationship, I was in a beautiful, healthy, wonderful relationship for like 8 years in my 20s. But when I started to become really abundant, there were like these insecurities that were being projected at me. There were these like money conversations that felt really stretchy and really uncomfortable. And my values were like exponential, delusional, unrealistic. I'm going here, and it felt so unsafe to him that we kind of realized we were growing apart, and like that was this knot where love and money and values and safety all kind of like just joined. And I kind of had to like ask myself, am I going to stay small? Am I going to not go for these, like, am I not going to charge what I want to charge because it's too much? Or, like those various things that were coming up as projections. And it's so important to be an abundant woman. My God, you have to know who you are. And you have to know you are going to have to hold true to you and your values and like your faith and trust in yourself, because there's going to be a deluge. There's going to be projections. There's going to be so much at you, and it has nothing to do with you, by the way. It has everything to do with insecurity from other people. So when that and a woman kind of comes up against that edge of, am I safe to choose myself? Am I safe to choose my own abundance? Am I safe to trust myself with these investments, with my money growing, with expanding my business? You're going to have people who are going to project their lack of faith on you. And if you don't know what your voice is versus what their voice is, you're going to stay small because your body is wired to. And that's not bad. It's not good. It's not wrong. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. What does matter is that you have the tools. So like some tools, I'll just give practically some tools. So money, love, like anything that activates us, money, sex, and power. Like human beings, we have this relationship to these three things, right? And a lot of people have these like negative stereotypes around what these three things mean. But to be a woman in relationship with these three things means you have to create your own meaning. You have to create your own healthy relationship to these three things, or else you're always going to kind of be living in like the shadow relationship with these three. So like healthy is the option if you want to choose it. So you have to ask yourself, and I have like a lot of journal prompts that I could probably just throw out there, but journal prompts will take you to an extent, like it will take you into awareness, right? But I would love for any listener, the next time you get a check, the next time you get a deposit, a payment, a client payment, the next time money drops into your world, I want you to ask yourself, like, and just kind of observe what compulsions arise. Like, do you want to spend it and get rid of it? Or do you want to put it in the vault and never look at it ever again? Right? Do you want to take everybody out to dinner and be the person who's like, I've got the check? Like, is it an ego thing for you? Is it something that like you feel all of a sudden like you associate with, oh, I'm successful now, or I'm good enough now, I'm worthy now, I'm lovable now. So we associate all of these really deep belonging issues onto our money. And money's neutral, right? Like we've learned this through all of the abundance teachers. Money is neutral until you give it a meaning. And I think women have to really look at the meaning that they're giving it, the meaning that they give it when they receive it, the meaning that they give it when they're in debt with it, the meaning that they give it when they're spending something. And a lot of times it's unconscious because these patterns are so deep. Your compulsion will show you what your pattern is, but you have to pause because compulsion is reactivity, right? So if you're pausing and you're creating space before the compelling nervous system action and reaction, you see all of the information that you need to know. And that's that's the feedback. Cause a lot of people are going to be like, I know this about my relationship with money until they literally like cannot resist buying that Amazon thing, cannot resist whatever it happens to be. And I'm like, whatever you're really fighting to resist is going to show you what you need to, like the growth edge, the opportunity for healthy intimacy with the money. Does that make sense?
I love this. It makes so much sense. It's perfect. And like, if you're listening and you're already inside the Wealthy as Fuck program, when you're doing this, like what we do in step 1 or the first phase is, it's my think rich method, right? It's literally get really clear on all the stories, but they're things you can't even think back from childhood, right? Because that's where it would have stemmed. Like this behavior, this compulsion, it's stemmed back from beliefs you've developed around money as a child and what's been handed down. But this is a really cool, like what I want to say is if you're listening and you're inside Wealthy as Fuck and you've already done this, that phase 1, it's a method that you keep coming back to. It's like, I want to get to that next level. The universe shows you like new level, new devil, or whatever the saying is. You do. It's like, okay, this is what's coming up for me when the money lands. You go through the process of like, well, the process is to rewire the subconscious then of, okay, well, this is the meaning I've attached to it. Where did this come from? Because this is not the real truth that I want.
Yes.
So lady, if you're inside the program or you've done the program, you've got that method, you can do that. But at least like awareness precedes change, which I know, this is what we're talking about. So I think, and one of my sayings is clarity builds wealth, delusion keeps you broke. And I know everyone online is talking about you have to be delulu to be rich and all this. There's a level of where this saying comes from is like you're delusional if you're not aware of what's actually you. Yeah, clarity on this is going to help grow your wealth. So I love this exercise. I love this reminder practice.
Yeah.
You can do it at any point. Like I can do it. I definitely, you hit levels and you have more money and like, oh, I can shop more. I can buy more things. Why am I doing it?
Yeah.
Is it reaction or is it actually part of the plan or part of my strategy?
Exactly. Like if you just ask yourself, I know you've done this work deeply, but like the people listening, if you just ask yourself, what am I afraid of losing when I become abundant? Oh my God. Journal prompt, like shadow work, all of the stuff will come if you are honest. You have to be honest with yourself. But like a lot of women specifically, back to what I was just saying, really like fear loss of love, right? Like there's either if I become really abundant, then I'm worthy. Or if I become really abundant, then I'll lose the love that I have.
Especially if you're breaking out. I'm definitely doing that. And I saw it. I think I just talked about this on my last episode I recorded. I talked about this to a camera recently.
Yeah.
But like, cool. He's the one who got invested. He invested in the stocks. He did all that stuff. And I remember seeing my mum, it's her brother, would say he's become snobby now or he's like, he want to spend time with family. So I literally got the evidence of if you become wealthier, you will be ostracized.
Yes.
And it paints that like there can be a fear around like our inner child doesn't want mummy and daddy not to love us anymore. Well, we want to be loved.
Exactly.
But it's not the real truth. It's just a truth that we're choosing to believe.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, But it's that the messy middle. I actually you'll love this. This analogy should be like a picture book now. Of when I talk to people, this is where you are and you want to get to this version of you. And I don't know I'm sure you have the saying in America, the grass isn't greener on the other side. It's where you water it. And so in this setting, if it was just as easy as turning your retic on, so that's an Aussie, I don't know if you know that, like your reticulation.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Every time I say that to a non-Aussie, they're like, what are you talking about? But we call it, we abbreviate everything here. But I was like, if it's just as easy as turning your reticulation on, we'd all be billionaires, right? We'd all be all the things. We can't just set a timer and set and forget. The grass is greener. You're going to love this. Mums are going to love this. Then I start to think of like, do you remember Teletubbies?
Absolutely.
And the grass hill and the sun comes up like, oh. So the grass.
My brother is obsessed with that show.
The grass is greener on the other side, right? And there's a beautiful hill. But you have to trudge through the swamp to get there. And what's in the swamp, the crocodiles, the bears, all the dangerous animals and I talk about this, like we're at the top of the food chain.
Mm-hmm.
If we have the right skills and strategies, which is like the mindset, the actions to beat the crocodile, we can get through the swamp to get to the other side. So that's it. Literally, it's like knowing we have to do the work, but no, it is a messy middle. We got to trudge through some shit. It's a crocodile. And then I have this joke, but I don't know. Do you know who Steve Irwin is?
Steve Irwin was like my number one idol growing up. Absolutely love it.
Okay. So then I made the joke. I was like, look, Steve Irwin knew how to beat the crocodile, just not the stingray.
I know. Fuck stingrays. We hate them. Millennials hate stingrays because of what they did to Steve Irwin.
If Steve Irwin just understood how to beat the stingray, he'd be on the grass. Anyway, look, I feel like it's definitely not too soon to say that because it's been like 15 years or something.
Oh, no. And now Robert, right? Robert is like up and coming and he's like fun.
Like, have you seen the bot? Like, anyway, we have tangented so much on my analogy. See what I mean? It's a freaking book now, but it gives the point. It serves the point.
It does. It absolutely does. No, I think that's the whole thing. Like, we all have to move through that. Yes, the messy middle, the swamp. Like, we all have to trudge through some of that. And that really does feel kind of like in our era, where our era currently feels like it's all social media. It's all like AI. It's all fake. Like, it all feels fake. And I think we both do a great job of creating real communities, real women, real expectations, and real goals. Like, it definitely, I think it's not I guess I'll say it differently. It's a disservice to showcase the sunshine and the green grass and the perfection and the abundance and without like that. Not that it has to be painful necessarily, but you kind of have to do this work, especially I think the kind of person who does well is the person who kind of gets turned on by the grit. It's like, ooh, I'm turned on by the expansion, but the process of expansion, stretchy, uncomfortable, confronting. It's not necessarily all pretty, but feminine abundance, I think, and this is also misconstrued in social media terms and the spiritual world. But when I think about feminine abundance, feminine business, I think of this really deep seated wisdom and strength and you've had a child, right? It's labor, it's growth, it's stretching, it's confronting your shadows for the sake of healing for your child. It's a very maternal energy that knows grit is a part of it. And being in that space of embracing the discomfort. I think women are so good at that. We have really high pain tolerance. We have really good, regardless of soft, feminine, that stereotype. That's one version of the feminine. And feminine abundance to me is you're learning by the relationship that's going to evolve and stretch you and create lots of opportunities to look in the mirror and confront your stuff. And that's scary. But the more you do it, the more you're kind of eager to see, like, well, why wouldn't I do this? Like, why would I keep this shadow hidden when I know, like, it's a subconscious limitation for me? So I think that women are kind of like blueprinted to, yes, biologically prioritize safety, but we're also like maternal. We're really deeply associated and connected to trusting in the unknown and like calling it forth and not being afraid of that either. I don't know if that makes sense for you, knowing that, background, but
It does. It does. I just know, depending where you are on your journey, listening, that will make sense, or it'll be like, how do I get to that point? But that's the sign just there that there's a lot of things clouding, like in the way, the shadow. Or I understand the term shadow. I think it's kind of trending, like shadow work. And so we're starting to learn, everyone's starting to understand.
yes.
But that's what we represent. When there's a frustration, when there's anything that puts us into and like I'm big into human design. So whether it's frustrated, angry, or bitter, whatever the like not theme self are, that there'll be a go-to feeling. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is whenever I'm frustrated, I used to just think, I just like blame other things. Like, it's that person's fault or it's this fault. But the frustration, this is literally the shadow presenting itself of like, Kim, this is the block, or this is what's coming up, to like get clear on like, why does this keep happening?
Mm-hmm.
What's the belief attached? This is the way forward. It's like the frustration is the shining light. This is actually forward that you want to go.
So true. Yeah, my frustration is my not self theme as well.
I'm a Manny Jen.
Me too.
Yeah.
What am I? I'm a 1-4 sacral Manny Jen.
I'm a 5.
Oh, you got a 5 in there. Cool.
Mine's actually like, I feel like mine's bipolar in the sense of 5 is like change the world, be out there, and the 2 is the hermit. So I'm literally extroverted introvert.
That makes
how does this even be a design? How does this work? I know you're the investigator, and I think 4 is like the community, like the connection.
Yes. Yeah, I'm way more comfortable in like my researcher, investigator energy. 4 is like my growth edge. It's like where a lot of opportunities come from, which is great. But yeah, I totally identify with like that kind of polarity or duality within your chart. That's really exciting though.
It's so exciting. It's frustrating, but exciting. And if you talk about human design, again, it's trending. It's the thing. Like, literally if you just got to know your birth time, go Google human design calculator and then go start learning. I did that and I just went down the rabbit hole of about myself. And then do you know what? It makes so much sense when you start understanding your profile and your, like, all of it. Because then when things are presented to you, when you're hitting the shadows come up, you start to understand how your own human behavior.
Yes.
Of which way do I go to navigate this? I think there's a whole nother conversation.
I agree.
There's a whole lot, but we will wrap it up. I think it's been almost, hang on, there should be a time. Oh, look, 40, it's almost at 4444.
Oh my goodness. Should we watch it hit 44?
4433 when I looked up, I'm like, I love angel numbers. Ready?
And there it is.
Don't think you guys can see that on the recording, but anyway, us gals, we're here for it. Everything's going to be in the show notes, your Instagram, your links. So guys, like, binge the show notes. Like, it's not that big. Like, go down there's a heap, all the links you need to click on to connect with Aislinn. But is there anything you want to share? Best way for people, I know it's going to be connect with you on Instagram anyway, but how else can people like find you, or anything you want to share or promote? Like, this is your stage.
Thank you.
Like, I work with you. So,
thank you, Cam. Yeah, I feel like our communities are really going to vibe with each other. So I'm excited to share this. Find me on Instagram. Feel free to DM. I love chatting. I love conversations with people. I'm like, how did you find me? I hope people do the same for you if they find you through me. But yeah, send me a DM and tell me that you listened to this conversation. Tell me what, lit you up. I have a lot of opportunities to learn about like money intimacy, also like feminine business. There's so many different ways to enter my world, whether that's $0 all the way up to like $20,000, so there is something for you. And if you just DM me and you're like, this is what I'm struggling with and this is what I want, I'm like, great, here's your assignment, or here's your thing you should hop into. I have this really great program called To Have and To Hold. And it's literally all about money intimacy. And having money is one step, holding money is the next step. and it's very confronting, right? Like it's going to ask you the tough questions and it's going to ask you to do some of that deep work, but it has changed so many women's lives. So if anyone wants to dive into that, just ask me for the link and I would be happy to send it. But besides that, yeah, I just like have so many reels for free. Just go and like binge my content, just like I'm sure you've binged Kim's. There's so much to learn, but also like I know Kim probably preaches the same thing and like really advocates for there's e-learning, right? Like there's a way to just like absorb. But then when you have to integrate, when it's time to integrate, like you got to kind of put your money where your actions are, where your mouth is. Like you got to kind of move into the I'm worthy of investing in this transformation. I'm worthy of investing in this shift, right? Because like old me, not thriving. New me needs to thrive. What kind of decisions do I need to make in order to align with that version of me? And I get it. It's so scary. Like it's really intimidating. I did it. I did it myself and I've done it a million times. I know Kim has too. But yeah, there's so much to say about like really deciding, like it really is like today's the day I'm making a decision to change and shift and expand and like, okay, what intuitively is aligned with me? And I think that that's just something that a lot of women who do this work, you hear it, you get it. But then when it's time for you to actually do it, like it literally, like your life will not be the same. And I just want to vouch for that. And I know Kim does too. But like your life will literally change in the best of ways. Not that it's going to be easy all the time, but like if you're ready for that change, you know where to find us.
Exactly. I literally say this at the end of all my things that you have to like, how can I kick you up the butt without it being too painful? Like lovingly kick you up the butt because we get like, I spent years doing all the free stuff. Yeah. And only get, because I would just like, I don't know where the fuck all my money went because like on wine and clothes. I didn't even buy fancy clothes. But I never saw myself worthy enough to invest in me. I was like, yeah, and there's only so much Tony Robbins you can listen to. It doesn't actually move you.
Oh, for sure.
And then we hit that point, but you will. Everyone will hit that point. You'll hit your threshold. It's like the bubbling water, the steam can't come out of the kettle. And you'll hit a point where you're like, and this is why the world, this is a great like analogy for it all. This is why your world will feel like, oh my gosh, everything's going wrong. It's because you know you're designed for more. It's almost like the next timeline's waiting for you, but you're choosing to stay. And this is your sign. And I find the best way to say it is the more you want, the quicker you want to get the result, the more money you spend. You don't have to spend. It's probably a better way to say that. It's not about like, well, I'm going to spend, this coach is even more expensive, so she's going to move me or he's going to move me further. It's not about that. It's just about if you're trying, you save time by spending the money. And when I did that, my first investment was like 21 grand. I went from 0 to 21,000. Like, holy shit. I don't even think I've spent, like, I've done another one about that size. The rest are all like smaller amounts, but just that shift, like, propels you through. So if we haven't encouraged you or inspired you to like make some moves, I don't know what will.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what if money was a game and you couldn't fail at it? Like, what if money was a game and you were in a relationship with it and it was like, you know, it's not ever going to break up with you. It loves you unconditionally. Like, how would you play with it? How would you relate to it? That's
I love it. Nice we quoted. We'll end it there, Arlie. Anyway, thank you so much for being. I'm just so grateful, and we'll keep chatting. But everyone else, thanks for listening. Go follow Aislinn. Go do all the things, and I'll chat to everyone else on the next episode. See ya.